All right. All right. We're live. Good afternoon, morning, wherever you are in time and space. This is JacQueline with Intuition Power with my friend, co-host Stuart Elliott from JacQuaeline, China.
Yeah, it's good to be
And
here.
let me
You have a
start
record.
over. Yay. Good afternoon, evening, everyone. It's JacQueline. Not to be redundant, but JacQueline with intuitionpower.com with Stuart Elliott from JacQuaeline, China. Coach Stuart, how are you today?
I'm good, thank you. And now you've got a double start, so we're off to a good
Right, right.
start.
I was like, who said what, when? um, Trinity. It's interesting. It didn't ask me to type in a title, but we wanted to talk about threes, the
Mhm.
power of three, the application of three. So you want to start?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a very big on three letters, AAC, awareness, acceptance, and choice. Something happens, we may become aware of it. If we just take, for instance, road rage, we become aware of some incident that triggers us. We don't accept it. It triggers us, and our emotions get the better, and then we go into a negative choice unconsciously. Now, if we
Okay,
take,
hold on. So hold that thought. I'm going to tell what I'm going to talk about in Trinities and we'll go back and forth. Okay.
okay,
So, what I'm going to talk about is a way to accelerate your awareness, your intuition, make it practical, and to do something that was talked about Spock in the sci-fi movies, the science space
Star
movies,
Wars.
the Vulcan mind merge. And I
Mhm.
teach that without using the hands, where you can use a trinity and literally get information merge minds. So back to you.
Yeah, I mean, if we were to train ourselves to become aware of things that are happening inside us as well as outside of us, our feelings changing, etc., or even slight changes in our body position, which signals something's going to happen. Accept those things are happening without judgment. Just accept those things are happening. Then we have the time to make a conscious choice of how we want to proceed, rather than go off on the emotional choice. Your turn.
This is unrehearsed, as always. um, so, uh, one of the people are always amazed that I know so much about so many things, et cetera, et cetera. And the reality is, my intuition guides me to turn the channel on the radio in the car randomly for no reason, and all of a sudden I hear a snippet, and then when I get to a meeting it comes up, and all of a sudden it's like I get to add that snippet that is absolutely new news and usually accurate because I know which stations to tune into. And then people are so impressed that I know what they're talking about. I might have no idea consciously, but then I'm tuning in, staying centered, and I'm starting to pick up on things. And all of a sudden I get invited into meetings or referred to a connection that I've been wanting. And it all started with me sitting in individual meditation, being taught by my teacher, my first spiritual teacher, and then a metaphysical, and then asking for, like, I need more because she moved away. And my next, and she told me, uh, all of us in the class, about 8 to 12 of us, um, always ask for the highest and the best, and that's what you'll get. And I believed her, and I just said, I'm still thirsty. I need more. and I would go into meditation, like, I don't know what I need or want, but I want more. And awareness, wisdom, something. And all of a sudden, these mystic masters moved to Los Angeles. I was connected with them within 6 weeks, and I
Hmm.
became this woman's protege. And because I kept volunteering, it was so fascinating. And the key, she said, um, I'm going to teach you how to merge minds, and you'll know what I know, or you'll know what the other person knows, not at the thinking level, not the subconscious, but at
Hmm.
the higher level of mind, the invisible realm. And you'll be able to be guided in the right place at the right time. And the process I still teach it, is accomplished through sitting in groups of three, the Trinity. And there's a process that we use. It's very simple, where all of a sudden, all of us start to meditate together. And instead of three individual little um, spaceships or uh, auric lights, we actually join forces. So if I was a candle, I would be meditate and my candlelight increases. Well, so does the other person, and so does the other person. And then we blend together and synergy happens. So
Hmm.
synergy is 1 + 1 + 1. If it's apples, you'd end up with three apples. But if it's light, 1 + 1 + 1, the candlelight amplifies itself. So synergy is 1 + 1 + 1 = 9, cubes itself, not 3. And so the amount of light wattage awareness that you accomplish is increased dramatically. Then basically the process that we use that all three people are focus in on one person at a time, yet through healing incompleted emotions, angers, pains, resentments, healing from getting into the cause of what started that. Where is your separation from God or source? And to then do the healing in a rapid way and pull forward more talents and abilities. And like a mystic, like the Dalai Lama, Master uh, Jesus, Buddha, many in the past uh, are able to stay centered no matter what, and stay in a love space of connection. And so so Trinity, and that's how I apply the Trinity in my classes and train people how to work with spiritual energy in a practical way. So
Yeah, I was just going to say there is a known power, shall we say, of three. And I'm trying to think where I've read it comes from, but it is a recognized fact that three people are more effective. And it's such a beautiful thing to have that synergy with other people, isn't it?
yeah, but when I was trained, I thought all synergy was good.
No.
And synergy is just energy. So I was,
Yeah.
we were working with there was a group that took over that rented the um, Pasadena Convention Center. We they got it for 9 days. And I'm trying to remember the name of the conference. It was back 1978, 1979. I'm that old. And the and the it was a metaphysical spiritual conference.
Mhm.
We had Buckminster Fuller. We had asked the Dalai Lama to come. By the time we got it through the State Department, it was 3 months before the conference, and the Dalai Lama's representative basically said, we'd love to do it, but this is the Dalai Lama. We need more than 3 months to arrange that kind of a trip.
Mhm.
Um, but we had 30,000 people go through the program um, for 9 days. and it was an amazing conference with Elizabeth Kubler-Ross, all of the top scientists and spiritual leaders at the time were able to attend, and they put me in charge of the I was volunteering. They put me in charge of the press room. My teacher was part of the conference coordination, and she said, I'm putting you in charge of the press room because I want you to be able to meet each of the top people personally, and I want you to be able to watch and listen to the interviews. And so, the gift, though, that itself was just a tremendous gift. And so I had a lot of amazing opportunities. But it's interesting because one of the most profound spiritual leaders, really, the one that I thought would have one of the biggest enclaves of people wanting to interview them, was sitting in the corner, and nobody bothered to even ask about him. I don't remember the person's name, but I was shocked. And and all these other people that were not of the same light or wisdom were getting hounded by the press and things. And so it was interesting because not the press doesn't always pick up on the highest truth.
Yeah, there's a big rabbit hole associated with the
Yeah,
press, which
yeah.
maybe it's not a good time to go down. But yeah, I mean, they don't always tell the truth that is real.
Yeah. But one of the most important things to me about the path that I've taken and how I teach is you can take the highest truth and you can access people to increase their awareness and their guidance. But the process to do that, one of the most important aspects, there's so many different aspects of diet and health and movement, and really looking at all the mental clarity, emotional clarity, physical clarity, and really reevaluating your own spiritual truths and constantly ask, is that true for me? Am I on the right path? And sometimes yes, and sometimes maybe not. But the key to clear all of those is to look at what's in your subconscious mind. And one of the things I think that your work specializes in is doing exactly that, the clearing away of the recorded information that sometimes we get distorted, or sometimes the information is connected with pain and distorts. It's like each experience becomes a filter for the next.
Yeah,
And
and we practice it. We run over it and over it and over it, and we perfect all these things. I mean, it it can be such a simple thing that we pick up on as an insult. For instance, maybe a teacher or a parent, you've got a sister or a brother with you, and the teacher gives a red sweet or candy to them, and you wanted the red one, and you get a color which you don't like. And you think that's done on purpose, and you then start questioning your worth because of a simple incident. Nobody sees how your mind is processing it, but you practice it and you go over it. And then you start to think to yourself, well, I'm not really worthy. I didn't get the red sweet. And
here's
you can
a
carry that throughout your life.
but it can be shifted. As you're saying that,
Yeah.
I'm recalling an event when I was in maybe the fourth grade. So I don't know
Mhm,
how old I was then, but maybe 8 years old or something.
mhm.
And they said, bring in an orange. We're going to help you make a special present for your mother on Mother's Day. Well, I love my mother. So I got the biggest navel orange I could find, and I brought it to school. And then the assignment was we had to take cloves and press them we had to cover the entire orange with cloves. Well, I had one of the biggest ones, and I don't know if you ever know the smell was
Hmm.
making me want to gag.
Yeah,
And
there's a lot
and
of
I had
clothes
and
there.
it was a lot of cloves, and it made me almost sick, like gag
Hmm.
me with a spoon, but I had to finish this because it was for my mother. And then you wrapped it in something, and then you wrapped it in a colored paper or something, and it was a sachet that you're supposed to bring to your mom. Well, to this day, decades later, I can't handle the smell of cloves or the taste of cloves. If I, sometimes in ham or something, they
Hmm.
put it on the outside, and you use like,
Hmm.
I get to think about my mom, but but it's so ingrained into my memory that that smell triggers, I hate this. And it, so we have, here you have an innocent experience
Hmm.
of just making something that I love my mom and all that stuff, but I had to do
Yeah.
this, and it's like, oh, that's a subconscious memory re-triggering.
Hmm. And of course, every time we remember it, the smell is even more powerful.
Oh, I don't know about that. I
But,
don't know
but
about that.
but in our mind, the smell is more powerful. So we practice it and we keep it with us, and it becomes a big challenge. And we can let it go, but we need, often need some help to let it go you know, because it's in the subconscious. Sometimes we don't even know what the event was.
Right. I use and if for people that say, "Oh, I can't imagine." Well, have you ever had? I don't visualize. Have you ever had a dream that you remembered, and all of a sudden it's like, "Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
I had,
that's
I,
visualizing.
I guess I do," and then usually that one gets most everybody, but then
Mhm.
um, a lot of people um, don't remember a lot about their childhood. They've
No.
just blocked it out. Their memory is like, oh, I don't remember anything. How sad, because there's a lot of really good things.
Yeah, the thing is to remember the good things and leave the bad things and just take the lesson from the bad things.
Right.
So
But people
there is a
block off.
protection, isn't there, that we can put things away and it doesn't have to traumatize us for the rest of our life. And sometimes, for instance, there's a gentleman I know, and he did a live demonstration with a lady who has a snake phobia or had a snake phobia. She was about 7 years old, and her father was chopping down a big tree, and she was playing, and she fell in the hole, and there was a big pit of snakes there. Not poisonous, but she was horrified, and you couldn't put her even near a reptile house at a zoo because of the association with snakes. Well, they were able to bring her through hypnosis and NLP. And beforehand everything was fine, and afterwards everything was fine, and then compress this moment and then lock it away so she didn't have that fear anymore. And then they brought in a python into the room, and she was fine. Whereas before
Wow.
she would have flown out the window or ran through a wall to get away or something like that.
That see, and triggering memories. So I was working a temporary job a long time ago, and so I showed up at work, and I was there for like maybe 5 weeks, so I got to know the people pretty well. And this one of the women, the coffee was in the back of a closet. It was a
Mhm.
long closet, like 10 feet deep. And and they had the light turned off or something. There was a workman. And when I got in, all kinds of people were going, "What happened? What happened?" I said, "What happened?" Well, if her name was Sharon, Sharon had walked into the closet with the lights turned off to go get a cup of coffee. And there was a workman, and on the floor, there was a hatch door.
Mm.
And he left the hatch door open. So as Sharon walked to the back, she fell down, and it was like 4 feet down with a big tumbler. So she kind of
Mhm.
fell to the side of it. And then she freaked out because she thought there might be a snake in the hole. And she literally jumped out of the She just went down and jumped out.
Mhm.
And you know how the adrenaline just does things to you.
Yeah.
And yeah, with a snake, she was afraid that there would be a snake down at the hole.
Yeah, and again, it shows how much potential we have, for many things. We don't want to be triggered by a negative incident, but knowing and understanding that you can jump that high and so quickly
I
is
know
actually a
it was
blessing.
really funny at the time. It
Of
was,
course, it would be funny, yeah, but
it
not
was
for her.
I know. It's like she fell in a hole and she jumped out because she was afraid there was a snake.
Yeah,
And it's like, wow.
yeah. You shot out like a rocket. How did you do that? And we have this potential. I mean, we've all heard stories of a mother whose child's under a car, and they just run up and pick the car up and take the child out,
Right.
out from
Right.
underneath. How did they
Right.
do it? They
Right.
don't
Right.
doubt it. That's one of the things. They don't
Right.
doubt. They just go in and do.
Yeah. You don't stop and think about it. Yeah.
Yeah. And we all have that potential in different ways.
So,
Sometimes it makes it
so
take trigger negative event to trigger
yeah.
it.
So your Trinity thing is going to be coming out in a book sometime in the next few months or something.
Yeah, probably by August or September, something like that.
But if you're listening, first of all, please share this. Press the share button. You never know who will be entertained or helped in some way by listening to this. But the what I was gonna say.
Press the share button because
um the the contact Stuart, and you
Mhm.
forgot to write Stuart, Coach Stuart.
Yeah, coachstuart.com.
Yeah. So what it Stuart at coachstuart.com?
That's right, yeah.
Okay. And why do you want to do that? Because he's offering a free energy session where
Mhm.
it's not just his generosity is amazing. It's not just uh, a hook to get you to buy sessions. It's a healing session, and
Mhm.
you will get some amazing insight, transformative awareness. And they say,
Achoo,
excuse me,
bless you.
sneeze on the truth. Okay, sorry, excuse me. And you'll get some amazing insights from
Mhm.
that period of time where you get to just talk with him.
Mhm.
And he's got some amazing techniques, and you don't even realize you're kind of getting worked on a little bit. So, what do you have to say about that?
Yeah, well, the work I'm not working on anybody. They're working on themselves. I'm just guiding them.
Yeah, you
And
hold
that,
up a
that
loving mirror for people
yeah,
for them to
yeah,
see
and
something without a distortion.
because the power is in the other person. The power's within you, and we just don't realize it. Again, going back to that, incident with a woman lifting the car, she doesn't realize she has that power. But when the time comes and she needs it, she can do it.
Mhm.
And we've got so much potential within us that we don't understand. And if we get the right guide, we can then start tapping into that potential to become something far, far greater than we ever thought possible. And that's
Absolutely.
what's so beautiful, is when
Absolutely.
people make that realization. And you do the same in a different way, don't you?
Yes.
I mean, one of the things you do is you teach people to bend metal with the mind. I mean, how beautiful is that? How do you do that? That's people can't understand the power we've got.
I've got a big box of them here.
You
This
live
is a
in a
good
town
one.
called Twisted Fork, by the way.
No, I don't. There might be. I think there's a running
I
brook.
seem to have
I don't
heard
know.
one somewhere along the way.
I am in Native American territory, close to it. I mean, the reservations are up there, and God bless us all. But yeah. So this is kindergarten bending. and the metal literally gets soft and warm, and the molecular structure loses its structure for anywhere from 3 seconds to a minute. And during that time, you could just all of a sudden like Play-Doh, and then it gets soft and then it gets hard again. So you can't really tell that I'm really pressing, but I am. Yeah, it's hard. And so that's just the beginning of like, this is partial PK or psychokinesis, because there's a bit of a dent. So there was a little bit of pressure. This was partly forced. It started to get soft, but then the crack shows that there was a little bit of pressure put on there, that it wasn't complete phenomena. But with practice, that was probably done within the first maybe 30-40 minutes of the class for somebody. And so we have you start with kindergarten bending, 5 forks, and by the time you see the other people doing it, and all in your belief system starts to change, like what, and people start doing it. And even online, thanks to COVID, we started doing it online, which I was extremely skeptic, like, I'm not sure this is going to work online. And then I decided I was going to do it anyway. And people started having phenomena. And as the first person, second person, everybody else was seeing it. And then their belief system was changing because they saw it. And then all of a sudden, oh, I don't believe it. And all of a sudden theirs would melt. And so obviously they were bringing their own flatware. So there's no way that I could have fixed things. There were a few people that paid for the packages of flatware to be sent to them, but I don't take the time to pre-bend anything, or I don't even know how to make it look like you haven't bent it, because I have heard by a lot of different resources that some people that teach the spoon bending pre-bend the metal. And it's like, are you kidding me? Why, when people can do it, you don't have to bend it. And so their training, mine started as a research project with the space program at Boeing. So they didn't the beginning of the program was not about, can we fake it, can we make higher percentages successful. They wanted to know what is how does the mind impact the metal, because we're sending men and women up into outer space basically in a metal can. So how does the mind impact the metal? That's what started the official PK party, which is what I was asked to take over. So I took over Jack Hauk, who started this in the early 1980s. We met around 1986, maybe 85. And so I ended up volunteering at the parties whenever they were local, because it was so much fun. And he was interested in what I was teaching as an ESP course, psychic development, intuition. And so anyway, long story short, I was one of the few people that kept showing up to volunteer so many different times over maybe 20 years. He kept saying, you should do the PK party. You should do it. You should lead the, I'm doing so many different courses and things. And anyway, he finally retired, and he says, please take over, keep doing it. And I said, okay. So there's a lot of statistics and a lot of technical data that, and even people that do it afterwards, they go, I don't know how you made me do it, but I still don't believe it. That's very rare. Most people, even people, I've had people with muscular dystrophy that barely have enough energy in their hands to roll their wheelchair, and they're in their wheelchair all the time, and they sit there and they go, JacQueline, I did this, I did the advanced, I can't believe it. I don't have strength in my hand to do anything like this. And I said, yes, because it's not about strength. It's about your focus, your ability to command and like you can blow air through a straw or make a whistle. And it's just a matter of flowing energy and intention. And all of us can do it if we're trained, unless we believe that we can't.
Yeah, and that's the belief system that a lot of people limits a lot of people, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't think I'm good enough to do that. I can't do
Yeah.
that. I don't know
And
how.
that's where I send people to Stuart, because if you believe you can't, like, go have one or more sessions with him, get through that underlying orange with the
Clothes.
cloves that's still there, and
Mhm.
then allow your brilliance to shine through,
Mhm.
because it will, and your life will change. Right place, right time. Your relationships with your family, your loved ones, your career, yourself, everything starts to shift. Your health starts to change, and
Yeah,
it's all
one of the challenges with people saying I can't is when they voice it publicly, they have to defend it, and they go out of the way to prove themselves that they can't do it and prove to other people that they can't do it. So unconsciously, they make deliberate mistakes or they limit themselves to prove it because they don't want to be found wrong.
right, right. Well,
That's a big challenge, that people carry around in their mind. And it is quite simple to remove those thoughts, but
so
obviously you to have a conversation.
easy for you to say.
But you have to
I
have the
have
conversation
I
with the right people.
I have some coaching clients that are really stubborn and they're really strong-willed, and they're
Yeah, but
very
they don't want to
successful.
change it.
They're
They
very
don't.
successful. They want to change, but they have that orange with the
Yeah.
clove
Mhm.
thing going, and sometimes, I say, yeah, have an alternative session with so and so or Stuart, and sometimes they do and sometimes they don't.
Yeah, because now I don't want to question whether my
Yeah,
belief is going to be broken. I can't
yeah.
lose my belief because that's my
So
ego.
promise you'll let us know when your chapter in the book comes out.
Yeah, I will do that definitely. And then,
And
you know, I'm looking
what's
forward
your
to.
other chapter on?
There's one on possibilities. There's another on. There's a couple.
Okay, well, we'll see what the next one is next week.
Yeah. I might
Okay.
have a juicy title for you next week.
In the meantime, is it this week? Yeah, I think it is this week. We have a new moon this on the 17th in
Yeah, that would
the
be 2 days.
US.
Mhm.
And so what do we do in a new moon? We write down what we want, we reset our goals
Mhm.
and dreams and revisit them for a moment, do a little meditation on that. This one and next one is extremely powerful. So,
Mhm.
without going into the astrology, um, just know it's a big wave. Take advantage of it and set a session with Stuart. Get clear from any blocks or distortions that might be keeping you from living the best life that you can. And I'm available through intuitionpower.com. Stuart Elliott, go to Stuart at Coach Stuart stuart.com and get on his calendar. It's free. Um,
Mhm.
we'll see you next week.
Yeah,
Make it a
well, I'm
good one,
looking forward to
everybody.
it and enjoy the new moon at the weekend.
Yes. Okay. Thank you.